The growing environmental consciousness of the 1960s was perhaps the starting point of the green movement of today. Rachel Carson's best-selling book, The Silent Spring, published in 1962, highlighted the overuse of pesticide, especially DDT, car emissions, oil spills and industrial waste. Some say the book was partly responsible for the introduction of the Clean Air Act in 1967 in the USA. Shortly after this, the first federal emissions standard and endangered species list was put in place. All good ideas, and legislation that formed the catalyst for similar actions globally. In 1971, in Vancouver, Canada, Greenpeace was formed, mainly, as I recall, as an organisation that opposed the whaling industry. All laudable ideals and achievements. However, over the decades, the green movement has been taken over by corporate interests, a fact that many in the green movement fail to realise. Why should corporations take an interest? In order to control any opposition. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Being green and environmentally friendly is fast becoming a stealth tax in the way it's being implemented, shifting the cost to the consumer, not the shareholder and the company. Fast forward to the 2000s. The Democratic politician Al Gore was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007 for his lecture tour on the dangers of global warming and the publication of the book An Inconvenient Truth. As far as I know, he has no scientific qualifications, but there we are. Today, in 2021, if you dare challenge any part of the global warming movement's doctrines, you face vilification and a possible ban from YouTube. Science, by its very nature, should be challenged. Even Einstein faced that. Meanwhile, today, in 2021, Al Gore has invested 60 million in an equity group in the UK, Octopus Energy, via his Generation Investment Management vehicle, taking a stake of approximately 13% in the business. The investment means Octopus has attained a valuation of around $4.6 billion. I will leave you to decide if he's a philanthropist or just making a quick buck. Over the past decade, corporate media have been relentless in who they blame for global warming and pollution. Basically, it's mainly white Europeans, resulting in a white European guilt trip and a taxing opportunity. Brushed aside are all the great achievements made by Western civilization in technology, science, engineering and medicine. We are portrayed as being uncaring, rabid consumers eating up the world's resources while polluting along the way. Yet, if we are living this bloated, greedy, unsustainable lifestyle, why on earth would we accelerate the tsunami of third world immigrants into the West? Surely these very humble, saintly and ever so green lifestyle living young babies and vulnerable women and doctors would end up living our terrible way of life, further polluting the planet and climate changing the whole world. The trouble is, the liberal left have been allowed to claim important, as well as the irrelevant, social issues as their own. Defining their take on any topic, no further discussion is encouraged. They are the isms, and if they say it's an ism, it is. In the West, I would argue that the two main destructive isms are that of the so-called racism and feminism. The first causes self-censorship, and the latter has resulted in a plummeting birth rate. We should start a GoFundMe page to help sponsor liberal zealots to visit China, Pakistan, India and career. True, they might suffer brutality upon arrival, but it's a price worth paying. If they were effective with their message and smashed the patriarchy, installing feminism, the whole world would soon be cleansed of humanity, and the world would be totally green again. The following video clip is from Chris Williamson's YouTube site. Patrick Moore, the founder of Greenpeace, gives his damning opinion on present-day environmentalists.
Give me your thoughts on Extinction Rebellion.
They're really, really stupid and bad.
Elaborate on your thoughts about Extinction Rebellion.
Well,
because you come from Greenpeace, co-founder of Greenpeace, and Extinction Rebellion. There seems to be people could see some sort of lineage or progression or connection. You know, it's an environmentalist movement.
No, there's no lineage or progression. We didn't dress up like cult teams of a cult movement, like all dressed in really stupid-looking red uniforms that are somewhere a cross between the Inquisition and a cartoon. I signed off when people started chaining themselves to other people's stuff. Is nonviolence, right? But it doesn't include inciting other people to violence against you. That is not pacifism. In other words, by you making the first blow or you chaining yourself to someone's tractor who is trying to make a living with it, that is not peaceful.
What about Greta Thunberg, one of the other horsemen of the environmental apocalypse?
Yeah, well, it's funny that people didn't notice right away that she is a young girl with pigtails, because that's what Stalin and Mao and Hitler all used young girls with pigtails in their photographs. That's all been well documented. I don't know what the pigtails has to do with it, but dictators, it seems almost always, use children as a front to make it look as though they're nice.
Now back to the topic of immigration. Is it sustainable? It isn't. In the West, our birth rate has dropped dramatically, and as you'll see in the following video clips, the immigrants pour in, and they're going to live our bloated lifestyle. It's certainly not green. The Western media in general, especially the BBC, portray most of the immigrants as being families and babies. And as you can see from the videos here, right across Europe, and in fact in America, it's mostly males, and young males at that. This particular video, I think, is from Spain. You can see the new doctors running in here, a few engineers and that sort of thing. And there's an engineer there. As long as we continue to take this, and it's been going on for decades now, ultimately we will just be replaced. It's a plain fact. The video that follows now shows what's happening in Ireland, and that's quite disgusting.
And I was like, where you from? She goes, me man's from China, and me dad's from Africa. I'm like, whoa! Ireland is unique now. We're mixed. Because I can imagine in 10 years' time, there's going to be Barack Obamas walking around, Beyonce's, and different sorts. Mixture of people. So the whites are going extinct here now. So we're taking over. The whites are going extinct here now. So we're taking over.